Okay, welcome back to painting class. On Friday, we started working with this concept of using our brush strokes to create the illusion of three-dimensional space by creating this two-part practice, one with an apple and one with a pear. Having our focus be brush strokes and the direction of the brush strokes, but then also making our paint kind of vary. Some of you didn't finish. Some of you have paint on both paintings, but have not created this illusion of space or depth. So if I look at just a random example from the drying rack and compare, and this is a problem that I saw a lot of you had, and I tried to grab the group on Friday and talk about that we need contrast. So this idea of contrast is super important. I should feel and see a table. I should feel and see a wall. They should be different from each other. And I need to have my fruit appear to be three-dimensional, appear to be grabbable from this space. So if when I look back at my paintings today from last week, I have this and I've kind of lost the idea of contrast, or I haven't fully created this feeling of three dimensions, right? And the way to check the three dimensions was to grab your camera and switch your camera to black and white. So we've done this a lot this trimester. And you can see that the one pair feels the shadow matches up with the shadow shape, the shadow, and it feels three-dimensional. This other one is just very confusing. We have a light spot down here by the shadow. We have a dark spot up here where the highlight would be. So it doesn't visually make sense anymore when we look at it in black and white. So you do want to make sure that when you look at your paintings in black and white, they make sense. Color change isn't the same as value change. And I think a lot of you kind of ended up with a very dark sheet on Friday. So here's what you need to do today. You kind of need to do a self-assessment, and you need to look at your paintings from Friday, and you need to ask yourself a couple of questions. Question one is, can I repaint? So can I take my work from Friday and can I adjust it? Or does it make me happier to start fresh from a new sheet? So there's a pile on the counter of fresh sheets. Making sure that when you're doing the painting, that you have more than one paint in your paintbrush, and are thinking about color and value change for all three spaces. So you have to kind of think ahead, what color are you gonna paint your apple? If I wanna make a green apple, I can't do a green table or a green wall. I need to think about maybe having a red wall and a brown table. So I'm mixing colors, and then they can't just all be evenly dark. I do have to make some lighter versions and some darker versions. Your goal is to create this effect. And if you need to start over today, there is a pile of these for you to start over. So if your paintings kind of are all lost, you have to decide if you're repainting or if things are muddy enough or lost enough that you need to start over. If you are in this spot here where your paintings from Friday do look realistic, you do have wall and table and a fruit, and it does feel three-dimensional. On the counter today, I have 3 different versions of this same activity, but they're a little more challenging. There's an apple with a pear, so you're painting both together, or a cut pear, or a cut pepper. Along with those images, this sheet here is for reference for painting, but there are larger drawings of each of these and sheets of canvas. So if your paintings look pretty good from last week, you can go ahead and take one of these little pieces of canvas. You can put one of those small pieces of transfer paper on here and place this darker side down onto the canvas sheet and go ahead and transfer this image and create this little painting. The one thing that you have to add in all of them is a table line. So I'm gonna go ahead and trace this. And if you're not ready for this, if your paintings from last week need to be redone, if you're gonna redo that sheet, or if you didn't do that sheet, that is 100% fine, and you can go ahead and just work on the paper. So you can see I have my apple and my pear here now, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I can kind of decide where I want a table to be. It can be straight, you can get fancy, and you can make it be an angle. That is up to you. When I go to paint this now, I'm still gonna think about painting, oops, I'm gonna paint my table so that the brush strokes go side to side. I'm gonna paint my wall so that my brush strokes go up and down. And I'm gonna paint my fruit so all of my brush strokes are curved. I'm also gonna make sure that I'm thinking about incorporating shadows in all of those as well. So you, like I said, you get to decide were you successful and you are ready to move on to something that's a little more challenging today. Were you unsuccessful or not finished and you need to still work on the sheet in the packet?